Ladies and gentlemen, it took a while, but he's back. We got Bill Looby Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, man, all the way down there in South Carolina. You spilt milk with the Tigers or what?
Yeah, they had a rough day today, and really a rough season all the way around. So this is the football Tigers. Actually, soccer wasn't all they did this year either. But football was pretty disappointing, and it kind of capped off a disappointing season. This bowl game today. So
well, you're such a fan, Tiger fan for the Clemson Tigers that I hope their bowling team did well too this year. So you know that I know that you know Bill Looby Jr., ladies and gentlemen, is the vice president of the peer review for Whale Certified Board of Directors. My nephew, nepotism, he's the president. But you're the vice president, baby.
Hey, man, that's an honor. That's a big-time honor.
All right. Because you're a straight-up guy, man, and you're going to keep me straight and narrow here, and to get, the quality of the content. A buddy of ours in St. Louis talks about being entertaining and informative, and you being the vice president of the peer review, you're the one that keeps me safe, sane, and sober.
All the above.
But it's amazing, man. Just because of soccer, I don't know you from nobody. I mean, I really maybe brushed an elbow in McGee's or over 30 at Hickey Park with your father, but I really didn't know the history, and you have given me a view of what it was like and what it is, and it's all because of St. Louis soccer. How about that?
100%. 100%. And it's just the older I get, the more I learn. It just keeps building up, and it's more and more and more. The stories and the fact that he still remembered. He quit playing for all practical purposes in 1970, and he went to played 1 year at the McGee's over 30, and I think it was 73. But yeah, once his career was over, he wasn't around the game a whole lot anymore, and so
there was no avenue for anybody to be around.
Not really, no. And he had a job that later in the 70s, 73, 74, where he traveled a lot for work, and he just couldn't do it. And he became a very, very good golfer too in those years. And,
wow, beautiful. Well, the ticket goes is that he's one of a handful of Northsiders who were with Cootis, which was the premier team in St. Louis, if not America.
Oh yeah, they were really something. And the way I heard it, he went to DA, and I believe he was on the first. Definitely on the first ever DA soccer team as a junior in high school, which would have been 1948-49.
Wow.
And then the next year he joined the old professional league, they called it. It did play at Sportsman's Park. And,
yeah.
He was a senior in high school. And,
wow. Get a load of this, ladies and gentlemen. It's a professional league that's going, and you have to. You couldn't pay to play on that team. You had to be asked, and the people that were asked, they would say how much, and they played at Sportsman's Park. Only the who's who played there, man. And he's a senior in high school.
Yes.
Oh,
17 years old.
People told me Bill Looby was the best player ever. You said, oh, wait a minute, how about this guy and that guy? They said, hey, those guys are saying that Bill Looby's the best.
No, it's unbelievable how many people have told me that over the years, and even maybe more so in kind of more recent years. And like I was saying earlier, the fact that his name's still alive and well in the soccer community is really a testament to
right.
how rich the history of St. Louis soccer is, but maybe to how good he was too.
Yes, exactly, and how much of a real guy he was. That he's a man's man. He's a man among men, I should say. That he was well liked, and I'm sure there was some, hey man, you better straighten up and do this, do that, but otherwise he was a good guy to be around, and to be able to be around all these years.
Oh
yeah.
He partied with all the guys after practice, and
sure.
after games on there's a place called Kulagi's Tavern, and he'd talk about that was by I think there was one in Dayton later on, but this one was across from Fairgrounds Park. And
was it?
They'd end up there on a Sunday afternoon.
I'll be.
But he just loved the practices. I think sometimes as much as the games. And,
man.
And
I remember that old Kulagi's bar. I was, like sniffing butts. I was that sharp, and all the guys standing up. You say, hey, go away, man. Give me a cold Pepsi or something,
Oh, yeah, that's how it was. And I guess, with the whole, there was a team called the Zenhofer Furs, and I didn't really know much about this until after my dad passed away. But the Zenhofer Furs was an all-star team that beat a German team 2-1, and they had all these guys like Herman Wecky and Harry Keogh, Val Palazero, Ruben Mendoza, Charlie Colombo. They had just this all-star team of who's guys that were on that team that beat I think it was Frankfurt, Germany 2-1 was the score, and there's a picture started floating around about 10 years ago, and come to find out my dad was part of that team, and I guess he made a pretty good impression on Harry Keogh at the time. And my dad at some point was playing for the Great Pets, and that was a Northside team with Joe Spica, Butch Cook was on that team, and some other guys too. I'm not as familiar with, and so my dad had tried out for the U.S. Olympic team in '52. And he made it all the way to the finals. He got cut. He was really kind of crushed about the whole thing, and so he kept playing for the Great Pets. And in that 53-54 season, he was having just a tremendous year. And one of the guys on the U.S. national team got hurt, and on Harry Keogh's recommendation, they picked my dad up. And the next thing you know, he's flying down to Mexico City to play in a World Cup qualifier, and he scored a goal in his very first game.
Man.
In Mexico City, and
what a beautiful story.
1-1. Yeah, and then Harry got him on there, but he kind of kept his place. And I think the way the story goes, when he got back from that World Cup, I think he finished the season out with the Great Pets, and then he went straight to Kudus, and he stayed with Kudus for 16 years.
Wow. Well, there was several people that I've talked to, and he was a mentor to them all.
I've talked to quite a few too in more recent years, really. But he was very close to Joe Clark's dad. Marty Clark was his name, and he was with St. Thomas More, and so Marty coached. He also coached Kudus too a little bit, but he would help out with the St. Thomas More boys when the Demling brothers were on the team, and I think Brian Clark was on the team at that time, and then later on he helped out with Joe Clark's team. And from my understanding, Bob Keel would come out there, and then in later years, my dad would bring Dave Otten out there with him. But I think that went on for about 10 years, and I don't know how much or how often it was, but I know it really made a big impression on Mark and Buzz Demling anyway, because they both told me that, and Mike Barnstead too told me the same thing. So it was a big deal, yeah.
And you can start a team with those names that you mentioned, and have a couple other guys, but that's a quality squad right there.
Oh, you bet. I mean, both had professional careers, Mark and Buzz, and Mike Barnstead, had a great college career, great, local career, and then of course Buzz played on the U.S. national team too. And,
yeah, man.
And if I, in my opinion, Mark Demling, that team from SLU, his freshman to senior years, arguably the best NCAA men's soccer team in the history of NCAA soccer. I mean, those guys were, 3 out of 4 time champions, NCAA champions.
Yeah.
And 1 year they lost was in the finals. And it was controversial too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. If it wasn't for them, SIU would have won all those championships. I mean, it was really,
sure.
Wow. I mean, to tell you, we were able to watch some soccer, and I thought it was great. And other older guys would say, "Hey, man, you should have been down to the fairgrounds. That's where the real ball was happening." And that Sportsman's Park, it's always been around. It's always been around. And
for
that
100 plus years.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. And so we got some inter-family quabbles going on of what's happening here, there, and everywhere. But you're the type of guy that you're not in the belly of the beast and you're looking at it objectively because you're a professional. You carry yourself with impeccable character. And so here it is that you are the vice president of, you have to help me with the title, but the peer review vice president of Wales Certified. And here I hereby state that you are in the Hall of Affinity at Wales Certified.
I'm in some good company.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very good company.
There you go, Bill.
Worthy all that,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm basically a fan.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
And so, not to, suck up and everything, but what got you, you really were the first big fan of Wales Certified. How did you become a fan of Wales Certified?
Well, really, I had listened to a Soccer Sunday show a little bit, and then another podcast with the Soccer Dad guys, and I picked yours up, and I was like, wow, this is just great, and I just can't get enough of it. And I feel like maybe, my dad's been gone for 27 years now, and all this feels kind of like a link to him and in the Dave Lang articles, that he was doing this day in St. Louis soccer history. And I can't tell you how many times my dad was mentioned in that. And there was 2 games that I didn't even know about. In 1962, Kudus beat Nuremberg, Germany 3-2. And I knew the story about him doing it in 1955 because my cousin, who was named Patty Laurie at the time, she married Pete Calico in 1980. So if you can imagine this, I'm at their wedding reception as a 12-year-old kid, and here's Pat McBride, who was Pete's coach with the Steelers their first year, and Harry Keogh, who was Pete's coach at St. Louis University, and then Bill McDermott, who Pete knew from St. Philip Neri, but he was also an announcer for the Steelers. So they're all there, and my dad was very, very modest, really probably to a fault in some ways. And so they're all standing there wanting to talk about stuff he did. And so you've got like the coach of the Steamers and a Hall of Fame player in his own right, Pat McBride, the coach of St. Louis U, and the World Cup, England 1-0, Harry Keogh, and then Bill McDermott are all wanting to talk about what he did. And I remember he did this. And so Harry Keogh said, 5-5-55, we beat Nuremberg, Germany 3-2. And my dad scored a goal in that game. And I think it was a winning goal, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But then there is a soccer history, This Day in Soccer History by Dave Lang. And he's talking about Kudus beating Nuremberg 3-2 7 years later. And I never even knew that game took place.
Man. Woo! What a story. And Pete Coleco is still married to the same woman, ladies and gentlemen.
He sure is. Yeah, I got to see him. I was up in town for a funeral for a good friend of mine back in October, and I got to have lunch with Pete and Patty and Patty's brother Don and a few of our other cousins, and we had a real nice time out at Massa's in St. Charles. And Pete's a very for as big a soccer person as he is, he's a big music fan too. And,
big time.
Yeah, we talked a lot about music, probably more about music than soccer actually.
Yeah.
But his sons Nick and Timmy were both state championships different times with Chaminade.
Yeah.
And both played at SIUE.
Yeah. And the one's the bass player in a good band.
Yeah, Nick's a bass player. I got to see him up out at 1860s in Soulard back in 2013, and he plays in a band with Pete's nephew named Tony Campanella. And if any of the fans out there get a chance to see him, they play in St. Charles a lot now. But
they are Whale certified. They are Whale certified.
No, they should be. They really should. And, Pete's even coaching his grandson now.
Yeah, man. I mean, Pete Coleco's been a soccer kind of guy for up teen years. And he's well, you can't say nothing really. I mean, he's a good guy, man. Way to go, Pete.
He's as good as they come. And the first time I met Pete, we moved to South County in 1977, and my mom and dad had a get-together, and Pete was dating Patty at the time, and he came down, and that's the first time I saw my dad's old soccer pictures. He had them in this manila envelope, and him and Pete were standing on the back porch, and he went and got him out of his closet and brought him out and started showing him pictures of when he was playing with Harry, some team pictures and some action shots and stuff, and that was a big deal. But my dad was really excited that Pete was joining the family.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about changing the subject here? How about the Carolina? Do they have a MLS team, or are they USL?
No, we've got a USL team called the Greenville Triumph, and believe it or not, John Harps was a coach here for several years, and he just left about 2 years ago. I think his wife kind of stayed back in Virginia. And he was,
man, you're not bringing that up, are you? Oh boy.
No, not the way back stuff, but it was just, it was easier to be home and stuff like that. But yeah, he took the team to the championship 1 year, and I know the owner's brother real well. I played tennis with him down here, and he grew up with. I've got a couple cousins here on my mom's side of the family, which is really how I got here. But his brother's the owner of the team, and they're building a stadium here too. That's going to hold maybe around 10,000 people.
Nice.
Should be done maybe next year, but to have a guy like John Harks, as your coach, is pretty. Because people don't realize what a great player he was.
Yeah.
The first guy to play, I think, Division I over in England from the U.S.
There you go. Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was called.
I think that's right. Yeah.
But here
I talked to him a couple of times. He's a super down to earth, nice guy, just like most soccer guys are. And yeah, so we've got that, and then Furman University's maybe 12 miles from my house. Clemson's about 30 miles away, and I've got a neighbor. She's actually she's a senior this year now, and she signed with Furman, so she'll be playing for Furman next year.
Amen. Yeah.
The high school that my son and the girls go to, they won state championships in girls and boys soccer last year. And
there you go.
And the unique thing here is the boys play in spring, which is one of the only states in the country that does that. Everywhere else is the fall.
Yeah. Hey, give me a little rundown of you're a national, international guy. You look around. Is Whale Certified uniquely podcasts in the soccer genre?
I think so. I mean, it's unique, and it's even without all that. I mean, you've got. There's enough history and going on in St. Louis that, you may not even need all that, but it's good to have too, because we want to keep. Sometimes it's good to keep moving forward too. It's great to talk about my dad or the old times and all that. It's not to ever take anything away from that, but keep progressing and hopefully getting better. And I feel like things have been a little stagnant lately from a national standpoint. And I just I go back to 1988. It's a long time ago, and I know in '89 everybody talks about that game with Costa Rica, but what a lot of people may not remember or know was in '88. It was August of '88, and I went to the game. It was in Soccer Park, and there was about 6,500 people there, which was a sellout at the time. And it was Rick Davis's last game with the national team that day, and they had played Jamaica. In Jamaica, it was a 0-0 game. They were coming back to play at Soccer Park, so they had to win that game to even get to the finals of the World Cup qualifying.
Right.
And so it's 1-0 at halftime. Another neat thing too, they honored all the ex-World Cup players, and there were 26 of them from St. Louis before the game. So, Carl Gentili was on the field, Harry Keel, my dad, Ruben Mendoza, Steve Petcher. They had quite a few guys that they had on the field before the game, and they called their name out and everything individually. And but getting back to the game, so it's 1-0 at halftime. U.S. is winning. Well, Jamaica ties it up about 10 minutes into the second half, and it's a 1-1 game.
Yep.
And believe it or not, Clemson guy, Bruce Murray, comes off the bench, and it just gave the team that spark that they needed. And he had 2 assists in that second half, and the U.S. ended up winning that game 5-1. But it looked to be in jeopardy for a while. And that was really an important game at the time.
Big time.
If they lose that game, then there's no World Cup Italy,
Hey, how about that? How about that?
Really something. And Steve Trichy was on that team.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to remember. He might have been the only St. Louisan on there. Of course, Rick Davis is sort of an adopted St. Louisan, but Bruce Murray from Clemson came in, and he really changed the complexity of the game, and they pulled it out.
Well, you tell that story. You tell that story on the patio at a barbecue with South Carolina, a guarantee.
Oh, I tell it all a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a special Carolina blend that you use in the backyard with the barbecue?
Well, down here, I I don't do a ton of it because I've got a place. These guys are good friends of mine, and they got a place called Smoky Dreams Barbecue. Less than a mile from my house, and so whenever I want
like
to,
a future sponsor. Sounds like a future sponsor.
I'll be able to talk me into that.
Yeah, man.
These guys, it's a two generations. So the dad's probably in his late 70s, and the sons are in their 40s, and
Wow.
they got their kids working there, and even their grandma worked there at one time. She passed away not too long ago, but they had, I guess they've had 4 generations working that place, and but I got my our turkey for Christmas Day. They smoked the turkey for me, and I brought it home. And,
Man, yeah. Oh, everybody wants to go over to Bill's house on the big gatherings. Yeah. Are you bringing that barbecue again? Oh, great. So the story goes is that you were there. You've seen it. You've heard about it. And now you are where you are. And you got this head full and heart full of wisdom and pride. Well, brother, it's going into the new year, and 26 is going to show it like it is, the Canada, Mexico, and United States. Can you give us a little bit of I don't want to say we'll wait till later to you think about it, but what is your hopes and aspirations for 26 in America?
Really, I'd love to see the U.S. get to the second round, I mean, I really, really would, to get to the quarterfinals. And really, I guess it's the third round. But, it's just been, we missed it in 2018. And I think they're still, finding their identity. But I'm encouraged with recent games. I feel like maybe there's something coming around the corner there, and these guys might end up being pretty darn good.
Well, I'll tell you, you could turn you on the what they call that when you put the pig and it's a spigot or going around the. You are a homer for sure, bro. You are eternally optimistic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about, they crushed, Uruguay. I think it was 5-1, and then they played Paraguay, and they beat them. It was a closer game, but maybe they're starting to kind of find their way, And,
yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in for it. I'm ready to go. So, what do you? If you could point to one thing that you're very that was keen to you of how you picked it, how you say what you say, what was it that you said, man, I'm willing to say that to the world?
As far as...
Because this is going to the space station. I want you to know, Bill, that they...
No, I think what we got to really do is kind of have a guy that's kind of, and I know, Tim Ring's a little bit that guy, but we need a younger guy to step up and be that guy, that that leader, like Harry Keel was with or Walter Barr was with the U.S. national team in 1950, or even for much of the 50s. Both those guys, you need something like that. It's just the cohesiveness needs to get there. And I mean, there's talent. There's a lot of talent, but it's just not cohesive. And I don't understand it because, sorry, I got an airplane flying over.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just that cohesiveness. And I kind of wonder, not to look back too much, but like in the time my dad played, or Harry Keel and them in the 50s and even early 60s and 70s, you could have had the teams that practiced that much together and played that many games together, how good could those guys have really been?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Wow.
It's just crazy with the training facilities and the lighter soccer balls and everything that they've got today, and the nutrition and the
caveman. We were caveman back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it was,
Yeah,
so,
man.
I mean, we've got the tools, and these kids are, there's more kids playing now than, I mean, back in those days, it was kind of, even into the 70s, it was more regional. You may have, Philadelphia, St. Louis, New York, California, maybe Dallas, Texas, places like, there weren't a whole lot of, there were pockets of it, but not to the point it was. And I think the NASL had as much to do with that as anything.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what caught the rest of the country up to St. Louis, I think, in a lot of ways. And those kids that were like my age that were watching, the Pelés and the Franz Beckenbauers and the George Bests and all them coming over and playing here. And then, they had professional teams in their own cities. And by the time you got into to the 80s and stuff, you saw kind of a shift to where a lot of these guys were, even at the team in 88, I think, as far as I can remember, Trichy was the only American or U.S. player on the field that day,
There you go.
Not U.S. player, I'm sorry, St. Louis player on the field that day.
Yeah.
And
well,
you go back 10 years, you would have had 7 or 8 guys from St. Louis on that team.
Well, you know that I know that you know. That's why you're a vice president, peer group vice president for Wales Certified. I'm here in downtown Holly Hills at Balloon Boom Studios, and it cuts them to say, we got to move on because we don't want to give it all away on one podcast. We're gonna let this stew a little bit, and we'll get back to you. But the story goes is that it's a custom here at Wales Certified to say, hey, Bill, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to for as long as you want to say it for.
Wales, I'm just grateful to you for having this podcast, and be remiss if I didn't mention Dick and Steve Westbrook and Dave Berwin and Pete Calico and Jim Leaker and the Demling brothers and Don Draghi, Steve Petrie, guys that Bill McDermott, and I hope I'm not leaving somebody out. I probably am, but just Tom Pelzero. I mean, people that I've really gotten to know, very recent years in a lot of cases, and they're some of the best people in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that the tradition and the history of St. Louis soccer, and the older I get, the more I'm amazed at just how incredible it is. And your podcast and the other one that guys do, and Soccer Sunday, and all Dave Lang. I mean, just people that keep it alive, and I'm, I know there's some controversy here too, maybe, but I'm grateful that St. Louis City has an MLS team. I mean, it took way too long to get there, but it's there now, and I know they had a tough couple of years, but they're there, and I think that may spur a lot of the youth on to playing professional and playing maybe even for the national team too.
Yeah,
as the years go on. So I'm grateful for all of that. It's and again, I mentioned earlier, but it's all a link to it's all kind of gives me a little bit of a link to my dad, and I've learned a lot of good things about him that I heard a lot of stories from him, just him talking to me over the years, but then hearing a lot of other people talk about it, I think it means even more.
Yeah, man. We're a bunch of storytellers, aren't we, bro?
Hey, that's okay. That's part of it,
Right.
Big part of it.
Yeah, big part of it. And you really get called out. If you don't know what you're talking about, you get called out very early.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of great players there, and I feel like I'm not even worthy to be on your podcast, really, because I wasn't much of a player myself, but I sure got an appreciation for the Steamers and the St. Louis U guys and just so much of St. Louis soccer has been a big part of my life, and I think it's independent of my dad. The Steamers came in 79, 80. Pete Calico being on that team was a big deal to me, and just all the local guys through the years, and the Don Eberts and Steve Petchers and the Don Dragies, and all just the list goes on and on. Steve Cacciatore, it's just a great thing.
I want you to know that you don't have to take a backseat to nobody, Bill Looby Jr., because you're the peer group vice president, board of directors, baby. You have come aboard. You're a virtuoso, so you're welcome to our table, man. And if you ain't at our table, I don't know what time you're eating outside on the ground. So thank you so very much, Bill, and we'll keep some eyes on it, some ears, and we'll see how Whale Certified goes, and right before the World Cup, you'll be on, okay?
I can't wait.
All right, man. Keep alert. Merry Christmas to you and the Loobies down in South Carolina, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kevin, and Happy New Year, too. And we'll be talking in the new year, and I'll be listening in the new year, too.
All right. I usually wake up and say, Missouri Tigers, but in this case, I'll say Clemson Tigers, all right.
There you go.
All right, Dan. The best to the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.